Oh, hey, now, faces that he sees, now I'm gonna hate that familiar.
And welcome in to another edition of Neutral Zone here in the Fan Run Radio Studios. Neutral Zone presented by, as always, Fleet Tire. Huge action yesterday on the gridiron in college football. We're going to recap it all. Tennessee 34-31, nearly
good Lord,
left the door open. Well, they did leave the door open. It's it's one of those things. I've been critical of this, not just this guy, this team, but man, that was very alarming, very concerning. Good morning, Drew. How are you, man?
Cloney,
I see the sweat still coming off your foot.
It's just, I mean, we got so much to talk about in this first hour when it comes to that game, and obviously everything that happened on the college football landscape yesterday. But good Lord, man. I mean, it's just every single time, it's just you feel like we finally got them away. You know, you got a 3-touchdown lead with 9 minutes to go, and for whatever reason, every single game, it's just Heupel and Tim Banks, for whatever reason, just decide to bail everything that's worked for them and just go with the conservative play calling. And it nearly cost Tennessee, again, another win.
No question. You're up, 34-17, 3 scores, and you just sort of saw it. You saw he was going to just set on it. And, luckily, Deshaun Bishop doesn't appear to be a long-term injury. Hopefully all the tests and everything come back and that's accurate. That's per Coach Heupel last night in the post game. But again, just leaving your guys out there, and it's so wide open. The one time that they throw, and I understand Staley gets banged up and he's coming back. He's a little iffy, but it just, I don't know why teams know it too. They've kind of got the book now, which makes it even more there for the taking to either run a quarterback, a bootleg, some sort of a delayed draw, or let him run around the end, or hit Kitzelman and hope that he doesn't catch it, or hope that he does catch it. He's had more drops this year. I don't know, Visine NIL deal maybe, but he did make a big catch. It was wide open when just boom, pop right over the linebacker and in between the safety, and that was a huge pickup when they needed it. But and crazy penalties, just stupid penalties. Listen, the first half, I watched a lot of football yesterday, and I can tell you, seeing some of it on my phone when you're at the game, and you don't have as much access, but you're seeing all the videos and the highlights from across the Tennessee's first half. Their run defense resembled Meatloaf Mullins out in Vegas or Air Force. Now, if you want a betting tip, and I've luckily some of the sharpest bettors that are on our Winners and Losers podcast and brought these numbers up like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it is an automatic bet over with Air Force, with UNLV. Neither one can stop the run, and Tennessee's defense at one point, I think it was at the 2-minute warning, sent me those stats. Tennessee was giving up 7.6 yards per rush. Now, we cleaned some of that up in the second half, Drew, and we got after it. We stopped them on first down, and I don't know for what reason, Harley Petrino there decides to just take the ball out of the running game. What the hell was he thinking? I don't know. But anyways, adjustments are big. I think we made some. I'll tip my cap there. But at the end of the games, I understand I'm not even suggesting taking deep splash plays, deep shots. Because those are, they're literally 50-50. And you're not keeping the clock running. So I understand that because your defense is just totally gassed. But Drew, why are you not running? I would run crossing route after crossing route, slants to the tight end. To me, I don't know if it's like coach's sphincter. I hate to get graphic here, but is he tightening up in these moments or is he? To me it's crazy. And I know we're going to unpack that. A win's a win, sure, but obviously there's a lot, and I don't even think, maybe in the first half you could say the defense was kind of, maybe they didn't even come out of the locker room and was looking more forward to next week's date in Tuscaloosa, but I think they quickly, again, they woke up, they got, their attention. Mm-hmm. Someone who has not woken up and is in a nightmare has to be James Franklin.
Oh, yeah.
In Happy Valley. Wow. Ole Miss nearly loses to – listen, Washington State gave up it was either 60-something points. It was damn near 70 points, if I'm not mistaken, to the team that South Florida, North Texas, that South Florida just steamrolled on Friday night. Anyways, but again, big wins for, Bama on the road, snapping Missouri's home, 15 game. Ohio State had little trouble with Illinois. Florida State, still have your banner up saying, go Seminoles, beat Bama week 1. We beat Bama week 1. Well, guess what? They woke a sleeping giant up because Bama's
3-game losing streak now for the Seminoles.
Yeah. And Arch Manning. I mean, he didn't really throw well, but he ran. He did enough to win.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma's offensive line is not very good. If you watch some of that game, I don't know if certainly if Mateer's not playing. If Mateer's healthy, I don't even know that they beat Texas.
Yeah. It's funny that you kind of mentioned Bobby Petrino. I thought kind of like all things considered in that game with him having like only 2 weeks to really prepare, completely overhauled, the defensive staff and everything. He coached a hell of a game, like all things considered, with all the turmoil and things were happening within that program. Mm-hmm. And Arkansas's defense, I'll give props. They put some pressure on Joey Aguilar, and Joey Aguilar he did enough. He wasn't great. I'd say probably out of all the performances he's had in conference play, this was probably the worst one he had, at least compared to Georgia and, Mississippi State. But I was completely shocked there at the fourth, like in the second half, they kind of just bailed on the run a little bit and just started, relying a little bit more for the throw. And, honestly, I didn't really understand that because, man, I've watched our linebacker play all season and good God, we are just so damn slow.
We are.
And I saw somebody on Twitter say this the other day, but, like watching Jeremiah Thielander trying to cover, either in pass coverage or, trying to stop the run, him running the ball and his athleticism kind of reminds me a little bit of like, that scene in Forrest Gump where Forrest still has like the leg braces and he's just unathletic as hell. Slower than molasses.
Mama always said.
Watching Thielander is like that. Watching Thielander run and try to stop a mobile quarterback is the exact same thing.
Yeah, and he needs to be playing. Listen, no disrespect, but we have two, and I'm not even going to get into pointing fingers and all that, but we have a couple guys at linebacker that are not SEC caliber linebackers. They're just not. They're not. And I've talked numerous times to an NFL scout, still a current NFL scout, and has said, what has happened to Tennessee's, like, the lack of talent in some of the playmakers. He goes, they're linebackers. He goes, it used to be when you scouted or you were even scouting an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman, you saw things that you went, oh, okay, I'm not scouting linebackers or safeties, but damn, Tennessee's really got some play. They got some guys out there that can really get after it and anticipate well. We take horrible angles. We're not quick enough. And listen, I hate to be critical and pile on Heupel, but I was saying this last year. He got lazy in some aspects of his recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
His two best recruiters, you could argue, are on the defensive side of the ball. And
you look at the defensive line. I mean, it's elite. Everything else,
yeah,
is just,
it is, and they're thin there.
Yeah.
So I understand that. But would McCoy, help us some back there? Yeah, absolutely. He would bring some. He would even help some in, like run support, things like that. He would sort of shore up a little more of the communication back there. But at the end of the day, and listen, knowing some people that I know that are really, really close to it and see it, they have said for a while that there's no reason. I'm not going to get into all personal and attack Josh, Coach Heupel, but he's got to clean up his in-game management, or he's going to be a 9-win ceiling. That's where we're going to be. We're going to be knocking on conversation. Yes, last year we got in, but you're in year 5. Year 5, you should not be this void of linebackers and talent, especially in the NIL era. And that's a whole nother piece. Is now you could honestly say, okay, well, look at our NIL budget. A lot of that is eaten up by a guy who's only, seen in, well, I won't even say mop-up duty, but when he got hurt and you had, David Sanders Jr. come in for our injured lineman at Mississippi State, and he played well, aside from the false start, the one play. But I don't know. Am I being too critical? I'm just saying people that see it and know, and I'm not going to say which coaches, but I'm telling you some coaches that really wanted to go after some players, some playmakers, some upgrades. And I understand you gotta kind of have someone to budget the checkbook, if you will, the amount of NIL funds that you have. But he's got to go after. You got to have linebackers. You got to be able to win at the line of scrimmage, and it's very important for his offense. We've seen that because when he's getting 6 yards, 7 yards first down, and leaving 2nd and 3, 2nd and 2, man, that's giving a chef back there, like literally, you're cooking with bacon grease.
Yeah.
I mean, man, it's on. I mean, that's jet fuel. You're putting jet fuel in your stock car.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's got to get better at that. He's got to improve that, or we're going to be, we're going to be in this right now. And we've got a basketball coach who I would have thought between the two, I would have never guessed that the basketball coach would be doing a much better job with the NIL.
Yeah.
Now, having said all that, we've got some amazing players coming in next year, but it should never have gone 2 years where you weren't recruiting elite or going into the portal and going and getting some guys that can play at that position.
Yeah. No, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, you could make the argument that the secondary, even despite the fact that McCoy's been, out the entire season, he's a shoe-in basically for the first round, NFL draft next year. The secondary's improved a bit, but it's just the one thing I just don't understand. And Tim Banks at the end of the day is a defensive coordinator, and I'm sure William Minge has his thoughts as to why he would rather play T-Lander over there, starting at linebacker. But you just know that T-Lander is a little bit of a liability when it comes to pass coverage. He's not very good. He's not that fast either. So he's tough to stop on the run. I mean, when you do put him up in the box, for rush defense, he's all right. But the other thing is for me too, it's just, why are we still starting Turntine at safety? I mean, like, I don't want to pile on these guys, but you know what? Like, college athletics is a little bit different these days, especially when these kids are making high 5 figures, 6 figures, and they're getting money. It's not amateur athletics anymore. So like, it's no holds bar, in my opinion. Like, it's no different than as opposed to calling these guys out in the NFL.
Right.
Like, Farouk, time and time again, has shown that he is more athletic, has more speed. He's been better in those coverages, and he's more of a threat. And I mean, and the reason why we have to play soft zone defense 15 yards back is because the safety play isn't good.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So, I mean, like, if the safety play isn't good, and he's been there for 3 years, why are we still playing him? I mean, and we even have Boo Carter, who we recruited as a safety out of high school as well. And, like, this is the thing that, they torched us against Georgia. They knew our safety play was trash. They torched us against Ohio State last year. They knew our safety play was trash, and they were able to take advantage of that. And so I don't understand why, if it's that bad, and that our secondary is also young, and this still goes back to Tim Bakes in the end of the day, despite, my, criticism on certain individuals on that team. If you have those flaws, why do you play 10 or 15 yards back in zone defense and have your freshmen, secondary, cornerbacks playing in islands basically for most of the game? T-Lander and Arian Carter are not the best in pass coverage either. Just blitz. You literally got nothing else to do. And you allow Taylor Green to buy time, and you saw it time and time again in the fourth quarter. They immediately played back.
Yep.
Green didn't have any pressure. He was able to cruise down the field 70, 75 yards on both times within less than 3 minutes, and was able to score on both tries as well in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, great points, and I agree with them. Another key point I want to touch on with Chris Brazel. Not much Brazel dazzle yesterday, but I will touch on something that I do see in the matchup with coming up with Alabama. 865-966-3435 if you would like to join us. Again, Neutral Zone, we are presented by Fleet Tire. We'd love to hear from you if you've got a thought. Are we being a little too critical of it? It's a win. It's SEC win. I understand, but again, it was also some points we left out there too, some opportunities. I mentioned Brazel, and I did feel like they adjusted some, wrote a safety coverage over on him, so they did sort of take that away. And you know what? I we took what they gave us. The one shot to Brazel there in the first half was just in the sun. So, you're asking the corner to turn around and see it, but it was just overthrown. He had a step and a half on the defender. So that could have been 6. But I'd love to see us get our backs, namely Star Thomas, in the receiving game. I'd like to see what he could do more. I saw more of it at Duke last year in the receiving game. Now, that level of defense there versus the SEC's quite a bit different. But overall, I thought Matthews, even though only 3 receptions, he had a nice end around rush. But Staley obviously continues to develop. Kitzelman, again, a couple of drops, but you'll take 5 for 56 and a touchdown, including that long 23-yarder. But my thing is, okay, moving forward, Deshaun Bishop, can Peyton Lewis and Star Thomas give you the explosiveness, probably a little more explosive than even Deshaun is. But what Deshaun gives you is that security back there, the pass protection. Man, you watch him, he is in his low center of gravity, and he's so strong. Mm-hmm. He picks up the blitzes. You're going to need that against Alabama. The good thing is Alabama can be ran on, certainly. And you saw some of that, yesterday, in the Bama game. Now, obviously, I don't know that we have an Ahmad Hardy in our backfield. I think he's I think he's going to be a future big time, only a sophomore, but big time NFL prospect already. They're talking about, but of course, Bama held on and won that game. But my biggest thing is if Bishop is going to miss some time, how are these other two guys, Peyton and Starr, how are they going to do in pass pro? Because that's going to be huge. I mean, and we've not seen it yet. If hopefully Bishop will be able to go.
I mean, you want my honest opinion on that?
I do.
I think we're cooked. I think we are beyond cooked without Deshaun Bishop. I mean, despite the fact of the pass rush, right? I mean, Starr Thomas has regressed tremendously in the last couple games. I mean, he wound up yesterday. I mean, he was completely ineffective. I think he had 10 yards for, 10 carries for 23 yards. And Peyton Lewis, I think he wound up having a couple TDs. But even then, I mean, 8 carries, 33 yards, like nothing impressive. And I knew that like we were going to have a drop back like in the run game just because, Dylan Sampson had a school record year last year and was, outside Ashton Gentry, probably the best running back in college football, But The thing is, it's just, again, we kind of talked about that earlier about Heupel being lazy, not recruiting in certain spots, and trying to improve those positions. I would make the argument he kind of did the same thing in the running back room. You just see it right now, like your main guy is a walk-on from Carnes. No disrespect to Carnes, right up the road, and no disrespect to Bishop because he's certainly improved. But that should never be a situation for not just an SEC school, but a school that is like coming off a college football playoff appearance and has bigger expectations of making it back to Atlanta for the SEC championship and making the playoff again.
Now, you could also say, okay, well, he did push all of his, I won't say all of his eggs into the, basket, but we lose the running back to Michigan, which most people thought was going to happen. Mm-hmm. 2 years ago, we lose the running back as well. And so he is going after those players, and I would love to see us get a sports car, rock star running back like that in his system to see what he could do, because I think it's one of the more underrated aspects. And a lot of people still think, oh, it's just to throw it all over the lot. But no, they run the ball at such an effective rate, and unless it's trying to run the clock out when we get predictable, our formations are tighter, and we look like, oh, we're going to try to run for 2 to 3 yards here. And again, now what I will say about Starr is I think he's more of a guy that, whereas Deshaun can go up in and get you 2 to 4 yards, almost guaranteed. Yeah. 2 to 3 yards, 4 or 5, with a broke tackle. Or a little small hole there. But with Starr, he needs space, and I think it's very apparent. We need to get him in the screen game. We need to do something to get him going. Now, I thought Peyton Lewis looked in those short yardage and the way he scores on the one touchdown where it looked like he was going to be down, and he was able to pop up before the knee gets down. So I love that. And I think moving forward, he will see some more touches. But again, I would, too, I'd like to see Joey design runs with him, but I need him getting down. We don't need to, no offense to Merklinger, but I don't want to go there. Yeah. Let me ask you another thing. And I could be wrong on this, but maybe because he got the breath knocked out of him and they knew, hey, all we're going to do is just run the ball. But I thought and thank goodness he was okay. Mm-hmm. And I thought that's what had happened, is like, maybe on the ball, and maybe it just, if you played football or sports, that's happened, or you've had the breath knocked out of you. And it for a second there, it's kind of scary, but when he pops up and they, able to walk off on his own by, the rules, yes, he has to sit that play at the next play out unless a timeout is called. We could call a timeout and he could have went back in. Arkansas chose to call the timeout. I don't know. Maybe the staff there was like, hey, maybe he was still, a little rattled, just try to get his composure. But I thought that was interesting there because I really thought he would have, and several people sitting around us were in the same. We're like, wow, why didn't you put him back in? But not that it's a huge deal. We kind of knew what we were going to do. It wasn't like we were going to ask, our backup to go up there and read 2 reads and throw between a linebacker and a safety. But anything else so do you feel like first half, the lack of performance by our defense versus what we saw in the second half where we put them in situations where they weren't 2nd and 1, 2nd and 2, 3rd and 1. They were in 2nd and long, 3rd and longs, and we were able to come after them. I thought we were a little more disciplined with where where Green was wanting to extend the play and try to roll out. And I think it kind of kept him in the pocket trying to make plays. And then we flushed him out a lot. I mean, he had to throw 2 or 3 balls, get outside the hash marks and throw it away. So I applaud the adjustments we made there. What is more moving forward, though? Do you feel like that's more of, was that just hey, we're kind of like sleepwalking this first half, and then, we need to wake up, which they clearly did at halftime?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely woke up in the second half. I mean, this is just a typical Josh Heupel thing since he's been here, where it just feels like coming off a bye week, the team just always just seems, I wouldn't say like disconnected, but like doesn't have like that same drive as they did, prior. And, you saw that last year when, ironically, we also played Arkansas. They came out completely flat. And then by the time that they kind of like made adjustments, it was like too little too late. And you saw that. I mean, here, the thing for me was like, the defense did make a couple stops in the first half, particularly that fumble in the first quarter that put Tennessee, right at, on Arkansas side of the field at the 49. Those are just situations where offensively, I was looking at the plays too. I mean, it's just like we ran the ball up the middle for 4 yards and a couple incompletes, and we wound up punting. Those are just situations where, like, when you get those turnovers, like, you have to find a way to be able to get some points on the board, whether if it's even if it's just 3 points, like, just get something. You know what I mean? And I don't think Tennessee did a very good job in the first half in that regard. I mean, you forced a punt in the second quarter as well. Same kind of situation, and we went, had 4 plays and then, wound up punting and then, before the end of the half, And so I would like for us to be able to take a little bit more of those advantage of like being on their side of the field, being able to score, because we had guys that were getting open. But, the one thing that is a little bit concerning, Clooney, and especially going into Alabama, is just like, still, like, we're struggling with the drop passes. There was one play in particular that I remember in the first quarter. I think it was the very first drive where it was a 1-on-1 between Mike Matthews and the other, DB for Arkansas. And Joey's trying to throw it down the field, and Mike Matthews, stopped his route.
Yeah.
And had he just continued his stride, I mean, it probably wound up being a touchdown, and who knows how that game turns out afterwards, And so they left about, a couple touchdowns on the board, and this game could have easily been a 3-touchdown win for Tennessee at the end. But it's just little things like that you have to be able to execute. But I will say this before we go on our first break. We got to give a shout out to Max Gilbert, though. Because we know we wound up winning by 3, but, he doesn't hit that 50-yard field goal. We're in overtime, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think we win this game in overtime against Arkansas.
No, I could have seen that. I just, and again, it just goes back to the fact that we, on the drive where we're up 10 and we're just sitting on it. And it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Just one more, force them then to use those timeouts and get it down to, then if, it just frustrates me. And maybe he's just got that much confidence in Banks and his defense was going to do enough to make a play. But I don't know, man. That's it's a little too much of a sweat for me, a little risky. But yeah, let's get our first break here. Again, Neutral Zone presented by Fleet Tire. We are live right here in the Fan Run Radio studios, and we'd love to hear from you. Let's load them up and let's talk about it. Let's talk about the SEC. Let's talk about the whole college football landscape, the college football playoff. I'll be interested to see where the latest projections on the college football playoffs. Maybe Heather Dinich will drop that out there. I don't know. Would Tennessee still be right there in it? Would have been huge if had Ole Miss lost yesterday, but I think some losses are coming for them. They're about to go on like a crazy. You mentioned it last week. Just a gauntlet stretch of road games too. So we'll see. And we hadn't even talked about Kirby and his craziness last night. The SEC officials, the officials, for it to be like the king of conference of football, it is the worst. It is the biggest clown show of officials I've ever seen. Like, I don't know, but that was a joke last night. And you saw the AD for Auburn, which maybe that's a little over the top, but man, the folks down on the plains were not happy. So had every right, though. 865-966-3435 if you want to lock in and tell us what you're thinking on the other side. More Neutral Zone coming up right after this.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Hey, Pack Rat. Yeah, you. Are you moving cross-country and you just don't know who to call? Call us right now. Listen, you've probably seen one of our containers in your neighborhood, but did you know that we can help you move anywhere in the United States? It's real simple. We'll drop a container off at the location you tell us to bring it to. You pack up your valuable possessions at your leisure. They stay safe right in your home. And when you're ready, call us. We'll come and pick up the container and give you a scheduled date of when your furniture and the other possessions will be at your new home. So if you're moving across country or across town, be a Pack Rat. Join the Pack Rat family. Call Pack Rat right now for your free quote. See y'all later, Pack Rats.
Call 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. That's 800-965-1298.
Hey Knoxville, Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly. We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess, but isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah, they specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real company, not a flea market stand, this is the move. If you're serious about your brand, work with people who are serious about getting it right. SM Athletics.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today. Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Quick NFL update. Across the pond, the Broncos are still struggling, maintaining a 10-9 lead. I saw it coming. You go in, you have an amazing comeback win versus Philly in their backyard, and then you come over here, and I think maybe the Jets have like 3 first downs, and the Broncos are sitting there with 10 points. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess a win's a win if you can just get out of there. But
56 yards of rushing though. Ugh.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Gross.
that's gross.
And it could be worse. Could be Justin Fields. He has 34 passing yards on 12 attempts. So,
hey, something else. Your thoughts on? I mean, look, 2 weeks ago, I thought the win by Oregon in Happy Valley was clearly the win of the season. Well, now you got to kind of like go, you scratch your head and go, wait a minute. Northwestern just beat Penn. I mean, they've clearly given up. But even to go out to Pasadena and lose the way they did, they just didn't look engaged. They didn't look interested.
I mean, I'll give UCLA.
But what a hell of a win by Signetti and his boys yesterday. That's the win of the year so far. I mean, now, tell me a win that's more impressive to go on the road. Now, is Oregon a little bit,
they're probably a little bit overrated, but the thing is for me, I mean, do you put Indiana like in that 3 spot where Oregon is? I mean, I would make even the argument that they probably, as you said, they probably have the best win out of any team this year. You can make the argument for them being number 1. I mean, like Miami's good. I think Miami's going to make the playoff, and I think they're a national championship contender. But if we're going based on wins and who has the best win, I mean, Indiana being 7.5-point dogs going into Eugene, probably. I mean,
that game wasn't even as close. They controlled the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
I mean, there were a couple of nice big plays downfield. Receiver for Oregon makes, really nice plays. That game was not.
I mean, they held them to under 300 yards of offense.
Yeah, they really, really won that game handily.
Yeah.
If you're looking at it, though, you could make the argument. Now, I'm not ready to say, okay, so I would say right now there's 2 teams that appear to be like on an island by themselves. Miami, listen, that defense looks kind of like some shades of some of the old, the gold teeth and the turnover chain. I mean, they appear and playmaker down there cranking the noise. And I mean, it's back. The U is back. And I think right now you could make the case that it's these 2 teams, Ohio State and Ohio State's offense is starting to get a little bit better with the young quarterback. And, so their defense has been there. But
the thing is for me, and it's like, I've made the argument, for ages that if you're a defending national champion, you should be number 1 until you lose, regardless of like your schedule. But man, having said that, and you look at who Ohio State's played, Illinois is all right. All right. Like they're an 8-win, they're a 9-win Big Ten team, but they are not even remotely close to being a college football playoff caliber team. And they'll probably make like the Outback Bowl or whatever the bowl game is in Tampa. It's called. You look at the rest of their schedule. Ohio State schedule?
No, I have not.
And you want to talk about a cakewalk? They play Wisconsin, who, mind you, just got shut out at home by Iowa last night. I think they lost 34-0. I think that was 34 or 37-0. It was the first shutout in 45 years over there in Madison. They play them next weekend. They play Penn State, who is just, they have completely given up altogether. And no Drew Aller. That team is just completely lost. They may finish 500 this year, honestly.
Wow.
And then Purdue, easy win. UCLA, who I'll give props. I've been a big-time Nico hater and still am, still will be, But I got to give credit where it's due. He's played pretty well the last couple weeks, and that new interim coach that they have, he's definitely lit a fire, which makes you wonder, did Deshaun Foster just not have his guys practice at all? They look like a completely different team altogether.
Completely different.
But, that's a win in the shoe. Rutgers at the shoe. And then they end the season with Michigan, who just calling a spade, got their teeth kicked in by USC last night. So, it's just an absolute joke of a schedule where they're going to go undefeated. But, I'll be honest with you, there's a high chance I feel like that, they'll face Indiana in the Big Ten championship, and I don't think they'll beat Indiana. At the way that Indiana's playing right now. Mendoza, he's dog.
He is a dog.
Pignetti, that guy's a complete psychopath, but an unbelievable football coach.
He may be doing more with, when you look at talent across the whole team roster. He does so much. He doesn't have Ohio State's talent. He doesn't. Hell, may not even have Penn State's talent. Doesn't have Oregon's talent. Miami's clearly got some talent, including that freshman wide receiver who's just a freak. He looks like a little Tyreek Hill. Quick update though. According to ESPN's Heather Dinich, the updated. I'm gonna run these off real quick, and then we'll dissect them. We'll break them down. And if you want to jump in, you can. 865-966-3435. Again, Neutral Zone right here in the Fan Run Radio studios, presented by Fleet Tire. Here is your top 12 if the college football playoff. And again, this is just a matter of a few people's opinions, but Ohio State obviously number one, sitting there 6-0. Again, you mentioned toughest remaining game at Michigan, November 29th. I don't care if Michigan is playing backups at every position. It's it's in their head. And they've lost 4 straight to them. So it's clearly, a head game at this point. Miami, number 2, obviously deservingly so. Toughest remaining, November 1st at SMU. So
that's it. Ugh,
yeah.
Gross.
Indiana, they have them all the way up to 3. Don't have a big problem. I don't have a problem with that. Top 5 is certain. That's a must. But when you look at their schedule, I think you touched on it. November 1st at Maryland is suddenly the biggest looming obstacle. The November 8th trip to Penn State, as she worded it, as shadow of the test it once appeared. But now that they've lost 3 straight. Texas A&M, she has them at 4. Now, their remaining schedule, November 28th at Texas. That's always it's like a crazy coin flip game right there.
Yeah, so they got at Arkansas next weekend, which, Arkansas's got a lot to play for, I feel like, in the sense. And, and Bobby Petrino.
And he's playing with house money. He's just 4th and 3 on your own 40, he's going.
He's going to do it.
Which makes it tough. it makes it tough to go there and to face that, to play that.
I was talking to a couple buddies yesterday before the game that, they Arkansas fans and whatever, and I was kind of telling them the same thing. This is Bobby Petrino's last chance of being a Power 5 coach at a big, especially in an SEC school. He's just going to throw everything, the kitchen sink. And, A&M always finds a way, no matter what, each year.
To have that one hiccup.
That one bad loss. And call me crazy, Cloney, but I could see Arkansas winning that game in Fayetteville. I would.
It would not shock me in the least. At 5 has Alabama. Obviously, much deserved there, especially with the development, the emergence there of Ty Simpson. Again, toughest remaining schedule, November 29th at Auburn.
Got us
Obviously,
next weekend. We'll lose that.
Yeah, last weekend here. I overlooked that. I'm sorry.
No, you're
sorry.
Good.
I hope they're overlooking it too, right? Here's one I don't agree with. Ole Miss 6-0. Toughest remaining, October 18th, next weekend at Georgia. But I know I was looking at I think they have another really tough road game. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but
I got it right here for you. So they'll play in Athens next weekend against Georgia, 3:30 kickoff. I mean, they'll be, Athens will be rocking for that one, especially. They play an early, probably a noon kickoff against Oklahoma, in Norman. And they got South Carolina, that's a win. Citadel, a joke. Florida in Mississippi, probably a win. I'd be very shocked if Florida wins that one. And then they end the season at Mississippi State, which, the Egg Bowl for what it's worth is always a very tricky game.
Yep.
They're I don't know, man. Like they could they'll lose to Georgia for sure. I think they'll absolutely lose to Georgia at Athens. Lane always has that one game on the road where anytime it's a big time road game, he always chokes. I don't know if Oklahoma beats them, though. I mean, after watching that Oklahoma game yesterday, their offensive line is just absolutely terrible. And, if they continue to try out Mateer may have to make a business decision, on whether if he's willing to potentially, plummet his draft stock, because he could absolutely re-injure himself again. And if he gets 2 injuries within a season, scouts for sure are going to be looking at that and going to be like, and be very, very cautious about that, on where they're going to draft him. And so I don't think Ole Miss is that good of a team. I think LSU is extremely overrated. I think Ole Miss is very overrated as well. But with their schedule, though, I mean, it's a very high possibility they could wind up finishing 10-2 or 11-1 and pretty much more or less be a lock-in for the playoff because, technically they had a top 5 win over LSU earlier in the season.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think next week Georgia gets Ole Miss. But again, if LSU or if Ole Miss plays the way they did against LSU, which was about as complete a game that they've played all year, I think they'll give Georgia a fit and could even win that game. She has Oregon sliding down to 8th. I'm not sure I would still have Ole Miss up ahead of.
I would have Ole Miss over Georgia personally.
Okay, but ahead of
Oregon. Again, the thing is, like you look at their like who they've beaten, right? I mean, they got wins over Montana State, Oklahoma State, who is just god awful, Northwestern, who's not very good. Oregon State, and then they beat an extremely overrated Penn State team on the road, which I know it's a road win, and and Happy Valley's a tough place, but I mean if you're going based off, I feel like on who has a better win right now, Ole Miss or Oregon. I mean, I'd have to say Ole Miss right now. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I think LSU's fraud alert. I don't think they're very good, but I think they're better than Penn State, though.
Yeah, well, yeah. So the team inside the top 12 right now, again, a team that really doesn't have much of a resume outside of a victory at Utah and an impressive victory at that back in September is Texas Tech. But they're 6-0. She has them at like 9 in the playoff ranking. Again, You've beaten. Non-conference schedule includes Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kent State, Oregon State 0-7. Again, a very nice win at Utah and in convincing fashion. But they have a game coming up November 8th versus BYU. That and the Big 12 championship game. That's pretty much it for them. Oklahoma, she has 10th. But their schedule, I mean, again, got to come here.
Yep.
Dark mode, November 1st, then go to Alabama, November 15th. I don't see them. I wouldn't even have them right. I would have them on the cusp, right there.
Yeah.
Your boys, the paper Tiger champions, LSU Tigers. She has there in 11th. They play at Alabama November 8th. But they play I'm sorry, didn't mean to jump in front of you.
Good.
They face Vandy and A&M before they play the Tide. So that's the LSU stretch coming up. Of course, Tennessee has to, in order to remain in this conversation, you have to win Saturday. How if even with that lackluster performance by your defense and leaving some points and penalties costing you some points there last night, that Georgia win right now, my goodness. Would we see McCoy back by now? Because I'm starting to doubt if he's even going to play.
So here's
what is the latest on him?
So this is like what I've heard from multiple sources, but his entire intention was his target date was supposed to be yesterday against Arkansas. That was his plan all off season. And, from what I've heard is apparently he tried to take it a little bit too much during the bye week, with the workouts and trying to get game ready. And, unfortunately had a setback. And so I personally, from what I've heard and just what I believe, it's an ACL injury. It takes, it takes 9 or 10 months just to be able to get that healed back and being able to move side to side and be game ready. I think he probably comes back if he comes back for Oklahoma. I don't think he comes back for I don't think he comes back for the Bama game because the thing is, like, at least with like David Hobbs, who played his first game, yesterday. Like even during the week of the bye week, and even at the very end of Mississippi State, he was in practice. He was trying to get into drills. It was just more getting his body game ready. And the same goes for David Sanders as well, where he was practicing for multiple weeks. It was just getting that nerve, that he had in his neck to calm down a little bit and finally, be able to get back at full strength. But McCoy's not even out on the practice field. He's not with the team. Like, he's doing individual practice, and he's there in the facility, but he's doing everything with himself, and the trainers, as opposed to being with the guys. And if he's going to have to want to take that next step, he's going to have to be back on the field with the team. And
I agree.
It just gets to a point where I don't know, just for his sake, if it's worth it, on him coming back, having the potential of like re-tearing his ACL and completely destroying his draft stock altogether. Because he's going to have to make, kind of like how I mentioned John Mateer earlier in the hour on making business decisions. McCoy's camp is going to have to make a crucial decision because he's right now like predicted to be a top 15 pick according to ESPN. Like, and that's despite the fact that not even playing a snap this year. Yeah. So, if he re-tears it again, it could be a situation where like, he could wind up, having that Hendon Hooker effect where like he drops his second or third round and it takes a full blown couple years just to really get your body ready to be able to play at that level if he is given that, given that time. And so I think he comes back for Oklahoma if he does come back. If he doesn't come back for that game, I don't think he'll play at all this year. But I do know for a fact.
Why would you at that point?
That's the thing too.
You'd have to be, I think with agent in one ear, advisors, saying, hey, look, projected late first round, whatever. Unless Tennessee has a realistic shot, and at that point they get to beat Bama, beat Oklahoma, and you're staring down the barrel, the potential to get into that college football playoff, a legitimate shot, and not even just to be in as guess what? We're gonna be the 11 or 12 and go play at one of these hostile environments. I again, the Georgia, the way we handled that.
The Georgia game,
we would be sitting in a hey, if you lose a tight game at Alabama, not gonna kick you out of the conversation. Yeah. But at this point, you lose, and there's no chance you're getting into the playoff.
I think though, like even with a loss to Bama, because I'm looking at Oklahoma's schedule, and first of all, Oklahoma can't run the football. That's like our kryptonite. Oklahoma had less than 50 rushing yards all day yesterday against Texas, who, like, Texas doesn't have the best defense in the SEC either. I mean, they're solid. Their defense is much better than their offense by a wide margin, but still, like, they're not. It's not like playing, against like Ohio State or playing against Miami's defense,
Right.
And Mateer, they predicted Mateer to be fully healthy by the Tennessee game. So I'm like very surprised that he rushed himself to be able to play. He had 3 picks. He played awful. They gave up 5 sacks, 7 tackle for losses. And you look at their schedule, right?
Yep.
Next weekend, they play at South Carolina. That could be absolutely a trap game.
It could.
Then they play Ole Miss at home. Then they come to Knoxville in a night game. Neyland is going to be absolutely electric for that one. Then they go to Tuscaloosa, and then they have to go play Missouri in Norman, and they have to, and they end the season with LSU. They could absolutely. I don't think they're going to lose all 6 games and go finish the season, 5-7 by any stretch. But they could absolutely lose, 3 of those last 6, wind up beating 8-4, or even going 7-5 as well. And so I think if you just take care of business, you win that game. You can, the committee's going to try to be like, well, this is Oklahoma. It was not a good win, but you win the games that you're supposed to. We haven't dropped a game where we lost a game where that killed us, right? We nearly had that last year with the loss to Arkansas. We had that 3 years ago in 22 with the loss to South Carolina. If we don't have a catastrophic loss, or if we lose like Joey Aguilar, for example, and we just struggle from there on out, it's a tall task of like beating Florida in the swamp, because we've only done it, I think, twice since the Nixon administration. But if you're able to get that monkey off your back, be able to get that win, a 10-2, with big wins over Oklahoma, over Florida on the road, that should be enough for Tennessee to be able to get to the playoff. But I will say, if they get completely blown off the door next weekend and we lose by 3 or 4 touchdowns, it gets tougher at that point.
Yeah. Oh, I agree totally. We'll get our halftime break here in just in about a minute or so, minute and a half, I guess. But looking at those rankings, and I'm just thinking, like, is there, in that 12-team conversation, perhaps the only team that's sitting there currently with 2 losses that could get back in would have to be Notre Dame. Just for the love, the appeal there. They're always, they'll make
the playoff if they win out.
Yeah,
that's a guarantee.
I agree.
I don't think they're good as they were last year, but they also, in their defense, if you look at their schedule, you start off the year playing 2 top 4 teams, with Miami and Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And they were both, less than a touchdown loss, respectively. Like, they went out, and take care of business. I think their toughest game, that they have at the end of the season is like USC. And, you get that win over there. It's a decent marquee win. It gets to that point where, like, what is kind of like the thing that, you're going to have to choose between a 10-2 Tennessee or a 10-2 Notre Dame, man. I hate to say it, Clooney.
Yeah.
Be a negative all, but, like, the BVS in me tells me that that Notre Dame is getting that 9 times out of 10 every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. Hey, let's get our halftime break here. More Neutral Zone coming up, presented by Fleet Tire, right here in the Fan Run Radio Studios. You got Drew, you got Clone. Neutral Zone returns right after this.
When it's past high noon, it's time for a vodka soda made with a vodka you've actually heard of. I'm talking White Claw vodka soda made with White Claw premium vodka. JB Smooth Only Drinks vodka soda made with the world's smoothest vodka.
And you can too. Pick you up a bottle of the triple wave filtered vodka that's been distilled 5 times. White Claw premium vodka comes in 4 flavors: black cherry, mango, pineapple, and just vodka. You haven't had vodka like this. No one has. White Claw premium vodka. Please drink responsibly. Whether you are buying or selling a home, or even looking for some land to build on and start a family, be sure to give Reed Emerson with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Heritage Group a shout. He is a longtime listener and supporter of Fan Run and has been serving the Mid-State for many years. Reed prides himself on his hassle-free and honest approach. And that's because he's not just chasing another commission. He wants what is best for his clients. Give Reed Emerson a call or text him today to get the process started. His number is 931-492-0418, or you can find him online at bhgheritagegroup.com.
Attention service members and veterans. Introducing the Griffin Law Firm, your trusted ally in military legal matters. From court martials to benefit claims, at Griffin Law, your mission is their mission. Here's VFL Marshall Griffin.
As a veteran and retired military attorney, I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. Or just visit griffinlawdefense.com.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Are you ready to show off that confident, radiant smile you've always dreamed of? Well, here at Knoxville Smiles, we're ready to turn your dream into a reality. At Knoxville Smiles, we're more than just a dental practice. We're your partners in achieving optimum oral health. From routine cleanings and checkups to advanced cosmetics and restorative procedures, we offer a wide range of services in an environment that makes every visit a positive and comfortable experience. At Knoxville Smiles, it's about more than just treatments. We're focused on creating a welcoming environment where you feel like family. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed with your comfort in mind, and our friendly staff is always ready to address your questions and concerns. Don't wait any longer to achieve a beautiful smile you deserve. Schedule your appointment at Knoxville Smiles today and take that first step towards a healthier, happier you. Call us at 865-539-1776 to book your appointment today, or just visit our website at knoxvillesmiles.com.
In a world filled with deadlines and screens, sometimes we forget the simple joys of life, days filled with special moments. At Inward Half, we understand the essence of these moments. Feel the difference between our breathable fabrics and flexible apparel as you disconnect from the hustle and bustle and reconnect with what truly matters. Inward Half, simple luxury for on and off the course.
What do you think of this take, Cloney? Stone Temple Pilots, most underrated grunge band.
Oh, I think it's very, that's legit. Absolutely. You've said that before.
I'm sure I have. I love Stone Temple Pilots. They're great. They're great. Not as good as Alice in Chains or Soundgarden, but man.
Well, they are.
But, you know, I mean, they're better than Nirvana, I'll tell you that. So.
Stone Temple Pilots. Well, we have reached the second hour. We'll still talk some college football, I'm sure. But it is, we have arrived to the NFL. And I guess now we're here in week 6. And the Jets are leading. I can't believe I'm saying that, in the fourth quarter, 11-10.
That's got to be a scoregami. When's the last time there's been 11-10? They could be the final score. I'm not gonna lie. Now, don't get me wrong. I got Lutz over there at kicker from Denver, and he's actually, funny enough, been like a bright spot for me today. He has like 8 points already, and you know, if we get a game-winning field goal here, that might shoot up to 12.
Wow.
But
I mean, I thought people were, oh yeah, and I'm luckily still alive in my big Survivor league.
Right.
and there were a couple people. I saw 2 or 3 taking Denver, and I was like, short week, travel, had to go straight. I don't like it. Some other travel, short weeks. The Jags, Duval. What a performance by Trevor Lawrence and that Jags team, and in knocking off the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. But today, I sort of like Seattle. Seattle's been a road team. They're a little banged up on the defensive side. That concerns me a little bit. Not playing them in a survivor, but if I had to pick a side there, I would lean to Seattle. I just think some of the Jags too. I think they're the amount of turnovers and the turnover battle with them this year. They're like crazy. +2 this game, +3, +4, whatever. I mean, they're like plus
Jags like +8 now.
Yeah, +8 now. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I think some of that, maybe you could say there's maybe some regression coming there just naturally. But I will say Brian Thomas Jr. kind of woke up the other night.
Etienne's been solid. He's had it was like 443 rushing yards this season. So I'm excited to see that like rush defense matchup of Seattle versus Etienne and Thomas Jr. as well. So it's funny though that you say that. I mean, like Vegas still has Seattle at 1.5-point favorites. And I mean, Jags are, missing, they're going to be missing their starting, center, and Trayvon Walker is wearing a cast, and apparently, he has a wrist injury. He's potentially trying to get in there and trying to get some play action. So it'd be interesting to see. But I was reading this up though. If the Jags find a way to be able to get that win over Seattle today in Jacksonville, this will be their first 5-1 start since 1999.
That is,
that's crazy.
That is crazy. It's crazy. So I'm sitting here sweating out the Broncos 11-10. I just want to. I'm ready for these stupid games over in London and these short.
Oh, boo! It's great for the game, Clone. Well, I'm all about the international game.
I mean, it's just I don't think the players are really invested in it because it's such the travel, the shorter week. It just, to me, if you're going to put them in there, it needs to be kind of nestled around a bye week opportunity. But maybe, I don't know, maybe so. But
I would maybe.
There's been some real snoozers. I mean, there's something to be said about.
They're giving us the worst teams imaginable.
Yeah.
I will say, Brazil kind of lucked out earlier this year with that Chargers-Chiefs game. That wound up being a pretty good game. But
yes, it did.
I would, the thing is, they're having games in Germany now. Obviously, they've had games in, Wembley and London for well over, almost 15 years at this rate. And I think they're going to start next year having games in Spain. I feel like if you wanted to kind of alleviate a little bit of the travel and make it less overwhelming and exhausting for all those organizations involved, why not pick 6 teams and then span those 3 weeks, allow them to travel to be able to each of one of those sites, and play some matchups and play the games, because they'll at least be able, within those couple weeks, be able to get adjusted with the time zone in an efficient manner, being able to have proper practices during the week. And, obviously if you have, 3 cities having those games going on in the span of 3 weeks too, and all of them rotating, it would obviously be better for coverage, for the NFL in Europe especially. And I think the players would probably enjoy it a little bit more because they'd be able to go to more sites. And let's be real, for teams and I hate to say it, but for teams like the Titans, we haven't sold out a damn home game in 5 or 6 years at least, and it would probably wind up getting more coverage and probably getting more fans and getting more money if we did something like that too, unfortunately. But I think that's just something they need to keep in mind, because I do agree to the extent that the idea of playing a late Sunday game, for for Denver going all the way to Philadelphia, then traveling back potentially, and then going across the pond, and then only having realistically 2 or 3 days of practice, and then playing an early game over there in England. That is definitely exhausting for sure.
Yeah. No, it's to me that from that standpoint, that's where it's at. I don't see the guys too when you see them, coming in and their post game interviews. They look exhausted, and I mean, hell, I fly to Orlando and it wears me out for an hour and a half flight. It just I don't do well with flying, but so I think it just But I guess when you're doing this for a living, it's something you gotta get used to, or
you make $2 million. I think you should be able to tough out it.
Yeah, take some Dramamine, kind of sleep through it, relax, whatever.
I will say though, at least for college football, that's where I kind of, even though I love the game in Ireland, don't get me wrong, like I think the game in Dublin is pretty sick. But next year,
and I would love to be able to go.
I would love
to Dublin. I would love to drink some warm Guinness. Oh my gosh, come on!
I would love for the Vols to play a game in Ireland. That would be absolutely electric. But I will say it's a little bit different for that because they got a game in Ireland every single year. But next year, I don't know if you've seen this too. They're going to have a game in London, in Wembley. It's Kansas versus Arizona State. Very random.
Okay.
And then they're going to have a game in Germany where it's Michigan versus, and I believe it's against Central Michigan as well. And so I feel like it's a little bit different with college athletics, right? And the reason why I say that is because at least in the NFL, these guys are full-time athletes. That's their only job. It's the only thing they have to do. Man, with the college kids, you got to balance out their schoolwork with the semesters and things like that. And, it's way more expensive, for these college football programs to be able to fly out there, get accommodation, get, flights and all that stuff and so forth. And so I'm all for the NFL trying to expand the game. I think it's good for the league, and I think they should be able to continue to do that because I think eventually we're going to reach a situation where there's teams in Europe and, potentially teams even in South America. But, having college football games, and especially garbage ones like Michigan and Western Michigan and Kansas, Arizona State out in Europe is a little bit odd.
Yeah, I would say. So moving into the looking at some of these 1 o'clock games, there's 5 1 o'clock games. You've got Cleveland, who traded off Joe Flacco, obviously handed the keys over to Dylan Gabriel.
It looked all right.
Yeah,
it looked
did.
all right.
Short passing game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and then you got Sanders right there. He's going to be the backup today. They go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, about a 5.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
I think there's some home dogs today that clearly are barking. And the Chargers -3 offensive linemen. Now, I think they can still go and win that game in Miami, but Miami +3.5 is you're seeing some steam on that. So I think that's a pretty tough matchup right there, considering it's in Miami. New England shocked the world. Sunday night. You go in, you beat. That was Sunday night, right? When they beat, when they beat Buffalo. Look, it would not shock me the least if New Orleans and them, if that game's close coming down to the end. New Orleans +3.5. I'm not going to put a lot of money on it, but I think New Orleans is very live in this game.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, and the Pats have struggled all season on being able to run the ball. In fact, they haven't had an individual running back that's gained more than 54 yards in any of their 5 games, only averaging 95 yards as a team. Don't get me wrong. Saints are trash, right?
Yeah.
Saints are terrible. Not a good football team. They're definitely one of the top 5 worst teams. But you see it time and time again in the NFL where a team, a rebuilding team gets a huge, monumental, big-time win, whether if it's on the road, late Sunday night, and they have a game where everybody kind of expects them to take care of business, and they drop an egg. This could absolutely be it.
It could be it.
And the Saints looked solid last weekend, against the Giants. That wound up being a very solid win because, I mean, we see how the Giants are now. Giants are not that bad with Jackson Dart and Scatterman as well. So, they held that team.
Jackson Dart has that it factor, as does Drake May. Drake May is it. I mean, that guy is going to be a superstar.
Oh, he definitely will.
And imagine him when he gets a bona fide legit number one. Now, Stephon Diggs looked good last week. That was kind of a, hey, I'm coming back home. I want to, rub it in their noses. And I will say this, and I'm going to check his odds. He still has not gotten a touchdown yet. I would not be shocked. I would not be stunned. I'll probably put it on one of my tickets on a long shot that Stephon Diggs finds the end zone this week in New Orleans. But I like New Orleans to stay close in that game. Now, also 1 o'clock, the Rams should have no trouble with Baltimore. No Lamar Jackson.
Who does Baltimore have?
Cooper Rush.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he played last week. Now, he does have another week under his belt to kind of get, but
That's a Rams.
It's so much I don't even really want anything to do with Derrick Henry. And, I mean, it's just the Rams should go in there and win that game, but I'm not touching it at -7. It's a little strong for me.
Speaking of Henry, because I feel like it needs to be talked, right? I mean, I think he's right at 30? He's been in the league for a decade now.
Yeah.
It seems like. Do we have a discussion where is he washed now? I mean, 317 yards. He had 4 touchdowns, but I mean, he has been, granted, the entire, Baltimore team has been ineffective, and I think it's just because of the fact, their offensive line's not very good, and their defense can't, stop a cold. But, he had 33 yards against the Texans a couple weeks ago, 42 yards. In fact, he hasn't had more than 50 yards, or over 50 yards, since his the season opener against Buffalo, where he had 169. Everything else, 23, 50, 42, and 33 in rushing yards.
Wow. Your boy there for the Broncos did get you a field goal.
I got that update. On the app. Let's go.
Second and goal from the 7, and just not able to connect.
They're leading, Cloney. We need more.
But 5 minutes left.
Justin Fields can't throw. You guys got this in the bag.
Our defense has got to make a stop here. This is still embarrassing. Just don't lose, please. So also in the 1 o'clock slate, so we agree. Rams, Baltimore. Rams should handle this Baltimore team. I wonder now. Lamar comes back next week. That's just hypothetically, and that he was close this week, but they said we're probably going to look. Could this Baltimore team? It would have to be one hell of a rally from your defense, the defensive troops, because they've looked bad. They looked Tennessee rush defense bad, first half bad for most of the year.
Yeah.
I wonder if they couldn't go on that kind of run that we saw Cincy. Was it last year when Cincy went on the run late in the year and won like 8 of their last 9? I'm just saying. I think if you look at their schedule right now, would that be a perfect buy low opportunity? Now, if they go to 1-5 today, they may be cooked.
If you look at their schedule, right? Obviously, Rams without Lamar is going to be a tall order. Just being able to keep up with them. Because Stafford, it's hard to believe that Matthew Stafford still has it after, it feels like he's been in the league for 25 years, but, he is still playing at a high level, and Sean McVay is just such an elite coach. But, they play the Bears next week and the Ravens do. Then the Dolphins on Thursday night. Dolphins are awful. Vikings have been very pedestrian this year. Just QB play has been just very disappointing for them.
Yeah.
Browns, awful. In Cleveland, they could be tricky, but they have the Jets. And Jets are probably going to wind up being 0-6 after today. Fingers crossed. Bengals as well, and Bengals are awful. I know they got Joe Flacco, but
no
offensive line.
No, exactly.
No offensive line
and a
whatsoever.
stump back there. So is he going to be better at probably reading first progression, second, reading what happens, pre-snap? Yes, than Browning. Absolutely.
He's 40 years old, though. I mean, he doesn't got the arm that he did 10 years ago.
That's what I'm saying is like, you're going to, if you bring any sort of pressure, the house there, I don't know. It's hard to make the argument that he's going to elevate a lot of the from a fantasy perspective, from a betting, from a winning. It does look 4th and 17, Jets on their own 26, so they just punted back. They punted back to Denver to the 16. Okay. So Denver has it deep in their own territory. 3:30 left in the fourth. Man, just pick up a couple of first downs.
Get another field goal.
Yeah, I'd love to see a Marvin Mims, long touchdown would help me out here a little bit. But just hold on, hang on. The other 1:00 game though involves a big injury. Obviously, the midget for Arizona will not play. Kyler Murray, inactive due to a foot injury. Indianapolis should absolutely roll them.
8.5-point favorites.
Yeah,
Indianapolis, which is a massive line.
Yeah, I don't want to touch that. I might go bring it down to -2.5 to win a field, even -6.5 and win by a touchdown. Parlay that with anytime touchdown of Jonathan Taylor.
I'd like Jonathan Taylor anytime TD. I would also like Tyler Warren.
Yeah, that is a plus. I was just going to say he's actually one of my targets as far as ladder plays today in yardage or receptions. Arizona has been an absolute funnel for yards and catches against opposing tight ends. Yeah. So, the key there would be is how much does Arizona keep up? Or do they get they would need to get off to a nice little early start for those numbers for you to still see targets late in the third and the fourth quarter for Warren. So I think it'd be game script would tell you, hey, they're ahead. They're running the football with Taylor, possibly even backup. Is in by then. The other 1:00, and I touched on. Well, actually, there's two more. Seattle at Jacksonville.
Yeah,
I kind of like Seattle again, and it's hard not to like Jackson Smith Najigma, and his yardage total is up there today. It's like 83.5. I think, look, 75 yards, he falls out of bed and gets that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to ladder that up to 100, I wouldn't be against it. Anything else there that you see? I kind of think road team, road history on the road. Jacksonville short week. They're on top of the world right now, on top of the division, 4-1. I just kind of feel like it
just seems like a recipe for a Seahawks win.
Yeah.
For sure. And the other thing is like
the hell of a job Cohen's done.
Oh, he's done. More power to him. I mean, he's done a fantastic job. He
wins today, and he's clearly sitting there. Maybe already. I hadn't looked at the updated odds, but he's right there up. Coach of the year.
Oh, you got to think.
And you can honestly make the case for Flat Bill out in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing it with Mac Jones, who's played in 2 games. He's going to start his 3rd game today. Well, what they did on last Thursday night,
good win over the Rams.
Christian McCaffrey has just been, 7-8 catches a game. And, oh, by the way, they're about to get – now, their defense, huge when you lose an all-pro like they did in Bosa.
Yeah.
And they've had some injuries already on defense. Their offense, I've got Christian McCaffrey in one league, and I'm kind of, I don't know, man. I might just want to go ahead and move him before he gets hurt.
Yeah. It's inevitable with him. The man can't play a full season, unfortunately. Great running back, but I mean, he is definitely injury prone. Yeah, I mean, I think for the Seahawks game, going back to that real quick, I think, they haven't allowed 100 rushing yards all season against an opposing team. It's one of the best rush defenses in the NFL by far. And so I feel like this is a game where they're going to have to force, Trevor Lawrence to, win the game for the Jags. And I don't know. Maybe it's just from past history on how that kind of goes for Jacksonville. But I just feel like if you put it in his hands and they stop the run game, which has been so effective for Jacksonville all season, I could see Seattle scraping by with a win here. There was one other 1 o'clock game, Cloney, that we both kind of forgot to talk about, and maybe for good reason.
Jets have the ball back, by the way, at their own 43.
Did we not kick no field goal?
No, well, they didn't move it. Yeah, 2:23.
Gosh.
I'm telling you, this is
Need
awful.
another
I'm
field
sorry to
goal.
interrupt.
No, I think we forgot about this 1 o'clock game for good reason. But Cowboys Panthers, you got anything in that one?
Yes. So every week I have, based on matchups, trends, defensive. Another team that is an absolute funnel versus tight ends has been Carolina, and I love anytime touchdown. I love receptions. I would even take his yardage started early in the week. Jake Ferguson at 43.5. It's up to 47.5, 48 in some places. I would absolutely take him to go over those yards. I think Carolina finds a way to play, play it tough. You could get, even if you wanted something a little safer, you could take his 40 receiving yards, parlay that with anytime touchdown, and do an either. You could do it with either Rico Dowdle, who's, oh, by the way, going to play against his old team, and he looked amazing last week. Or you could do that with Jake Ferguson. Now the odds greatly are juiced substantially when you do an either or, but you're getting pretty solid odds when you combine that with 40 receiving yards.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's going to be quite a few points in that game too. I might be wrong, but I could see that both teams getting points there. But 2-minute warning, 2nd and 3 from midfield. And just geez, I mean, what an embarrassment! Just get out of London with a W, please, Denver. But again, I'll continue to say, beat that drum. These there hasn't been a decent, aside from that one Chiefs Chargers game. Again, memo to the league there. I understand you're trying to grow it internationally. It's an ego thing too. You've got a very egotistical maniac like Goodell, who wants, when you see what globally what football or over what it does, and then he, numbers wise, he's probably looking at that like, oh well, look, we're gonna go overseas. We're gonna take it overseas. We're gonna brand the NFL all over the world. And
I think you could see it. I'm telling you. I think
I mean, I don't fault him for it. I'm just saying I don't think players. You're not seeing teams play at their optimal performance. And I'm not just saying this because my Broncos are sitting here making me sweat. But even Minnesota a couple of weeks ago, like where they just the way I know offensively, but it was just like, it was such a bad product.
Again, like I said earlier at the start of the hour, the way to resolve this is that you have 6 teams that go over there in a span of 3 weeks, have them rotate among cities so that they could be able to.
Now that, yes,
they
that
could
can
be
make,
able.
you're getting acclimated
Right.
to, yes.
And then after you get
the
that
food, everything, yes.
And after those 3 weeks of them playing those 3 games in 3 different cities, allow those teams to go in a bye week to be able to rest, get acclimated back, like with the U.S. time zone, whether if it's Central or Mountain time zone or whatever, and then get back to going things over here. But I agree completely. I think there's been instances where literally a team will play a late Sunday night game or even a Monday night game, and then have to go to London and literally play a game over there, which is like a 9:30 kickoff here. And it's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I had left off that Dallas, Carolina, but sometimes saving the best for the last. Denver calls a timeout, but New York has it 1st and 10 on Denver's 47. So they are one play from easily being in field goal range. Yeah, this is just too much of a sweat for me, but it'd be a great time to take a break. 2nd and 15 on the Jets 49. So hopefully this defense is going to find a way here to hold. You mentioned it, though, Tennessee versus Vegas. Vegas Genty should eat on the ground. One aspect I would say on that is I think Calvin Ridley has finally woken up, and they're starting to develop a little bit more of a chemistry there. I definitely like that. Here is a great matchup. Now, I say great matchup, but you've got 2 4-1 teams. Yes, there's tons of injuries, so some guys are not going to be involved in this game. But San Francisco, a 3.5-point underdog, catching 3.5 at Tampa. I wouldn't bet on San Fran to win the game, but I kind of like them, catching 3.5. I love, now you talked about some props. One that I absolutely love today, and I'm going to ladder it up. He's minus 130 for 4 receptions for Rachaad White. Again, no Bucky Irvin, but Rachaad White to get 5 receptions is plus 140. So you want to get crazy, and you put that with San Fran getting the plus 3.5. All of a sudden, you're now at like plus 300. So not bad. And honestly, you could probably say Christian McCaffrey should see many targets. Again, still without no Brandon Ayuk, still no George Kittle, no Jawan Jennings, no Ricky Pearsall. I mean, I don't believe Pearsall's playing. I believe he was questionable all week, but anyways, yeah, they look like a mash unit. Their injury report kind of looks like a Belichick from years ago with the when you knew all the Patriots were going to play.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would another guy to kind of like I think that's a little bit under the radar for the 49ers is like Kendrick Bourne as well.
Yeah, I mean, he had that chemistry playing with Mac back in New England. Yeah,
he had 10 catches, 142 yards last week. I mean, they signed him right off after the offseason, or after the season opener, and he's been able to acclimate himself over there pretty decently. I also probably put a Booga for another TD as well.
He's been a stud. I drafted him in a dynasty league. I wanted him in all my leagues. He was just one of those guys, and you can still get him at like plus 600, plus 550 to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Right now, he's he looks pretty solid, but still it's a quarterback award, and it's going to be awfully tough for. So I guess Denver did. Oh, thank goodness, Denver. They went for it on 4th and 8. The Jets did on their on 44. Denver holds. So 109 left. Hopefully we just run this clock out here. Get out of London with a not so impressive. Hey, they're all wins, but still. But again, another under hit with ease. You could have gotten this in the first quarter when it was 10-6 at the very end, the last play of the first quarter, 10-6, and that the total opened at like 44.5. It went up to 49.5, and I literally am kicking myself for not jumping on it. Imagine if you would have went down to, like, I'm just saying, they scored 24 points. Looks like they're just kneeling and running the clock out. But if you would have put it under, I would have loved to have seen what it would have been under 24.5. Oh, it would have been like plus 800 or something. Yeah. Anyways, we're degenerates. We're talking about what if, could have, should have been, all that. You're listening to Neutral Zone right here, presented by Fleet Tire. Come on back. We're going to get our halftime break, and we will return right here on Fan Run Radio.
Whether you're heading to work, taking the kids to school, or planning your next road trip, your car needs to be ready for the ride. Hi, I'm Russell Smith, and I've been a customer at Matlock Tire and Auto Service for about as long as I've been driving. For me, it all comes down to trust. Look, I'm not a car guy, and I just don't want to get taken advantage of on car maintenance costs. Matlock Tire Service is a family-owned and operated business, and they wouldn't have made it this long if they hadn't been providing trustworthy service you can depend on. They're the home of the price match guarantee, which means you can bring in any competitor's ad, and Matlock will match the exact same tire for the exact same price. I've bought a lot of tires at Matlock over the years, and I always go there for my oil changes. You should too. They've got locations in Farragut, Hardin Valley, Lenoir City, Maryville, and Athens. Visit their website, matlocktireservice.com, to find the location nearest you and schedule your appointment. Tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Honest service, quality work, dependable care, Matlock Tire and Auto Service.
If I asked you right now to open your wallet, how many credit cards would be in there? 3, 4, 5, or more? Here's a better question. How many of them are maxed to the limit? What's the interest rate on those? 16%, 18%, some as high as 22%? Hey, it's Russell. I know there's someone listening right now who feels like they're trapped. Their credit cards are maxed. They can't even make the minimum payments. They've piled up and you need help. Maybe you've lost your job. You're behind on the payments. And now the debt collectors are calling every day. Want some help? Jerry Givens can help. Jerry's been helping East Tennesseans for years get back on track, get their debt under control, or even eliminated. Jerry Givens knows what laws are out there to help protect you. These problems don't go away because you ignore the calls or letters. Trust me, they actually get worse, much worse. Jerry Givens has helped thousands of people by stopping those calls and letters. Get their peace of mind. Stop living in fear. It's no fun. Call today to set up your free consultation. 865-801-9250. That's 865-801-9250. Stop the calls by making a call. 865-801-9250.
Attention service members and veterans. Introducing the Griffin Law Firm, your trusted ally in military legal matters. From court martials to benefit claims, at Griffin Law, your mission is their mission. Here's VFL Marshall Griffin.
As a veteran and retired military attorney, I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. Or just visit griffinlawdefense.com.
Today, we raise a glass of Jameson Irish whiskey to the sport of football. Hear, hear!
To Gaelic football, born in Ireland in 1885 in its thrilling blend of soccer, rugby and basketball. On a massive field, 15 players kick or hand pass a round ball that scored points over a bar or into a net. No pads, no helmet, no sense.
Hear, hear!
To college football, which kicked off in 1869 when Rutgers beat Princeton 6-4 in the Battle of New Jersey. With 11 players and helmets and pads, teams battle on a 100-yard gridiron with explosive pass plays and hard-hitting tackles. Unless you're called for targeting.
Hear, hear! Since 1780, Jameson Irish whiskey has been enjoyed by sports fans all around the globe. Whether your football is Gaelic, American, or even soccer, we can all agree on super smooth Jameson Irish whiskey. Hear, hear!
So was that performance from Justin Fields the worst performance by a starting quarterback in NFL
was
history?
it nine completions, 9 sacks? I mean, the offensive line is horrendous.
They're awful, but he had 45 passing yards.
Yeah. Well, I figured I'm playing a guy in fantasy, and he was like, "Man, I'm probably kicking myself. I'm gonna kick myself for starting Garrett Wilson." I'm like, dude, Surtain is gonna try to just don't even throw it to that side, and he'll probably go over. It's not a Jamar Chase thing where Jamar Chase can basically move in the slot and they move him all the way around. But if you're an outside receiver, you pretty much factor. You're not going to factor very much against him. That's really the only thing that that I have to hang my hat on. Bonita is a fantastic player too. He's but again, and I'm just looking at one of my lineups here. Yeah, so one of the teams did start. Thank goodness he didn't do hardly anything, but really nothing at all. No. Mason, the young tight end out of LSU, has been very promising lately in the middle of the field. He only had one catch for 2 yards.
Yeah.
So yeah, just abysmal, man. I mean the ratings and everything.
If you take into account, sacks and yards lost into the passing game, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Jets finished with negative 10 passing yards and 82 yards of offense. I mean, that's just, and the fact they almost had an opportunity to win the game too, which makes it even more unbelievable. But yeah, that's got to be the worst game of the year.
Yeah, that's pretty tough, man. That's pretty tough. Yeah, so we're about if you got to set your lineups, you're going to try to get some bets in Survivor League. You've got about 18 minutes there before the official Week 6 kicks off. We'll say it's officially kicked off this morning in London. First game in the books, but gosh, what an absolute snoozer! What an absolute snooze fest. Anyways, another guy who I like an opportunity today because their offensive line. So in fantasy, a guy I really liked is Kamani Vidal for LA. I think he's really set up in this offense to be able to catch a lot of screens. He was very effective route runner in college, sort of like Woody Marks was, although Woody Marks kind of let some folks down last week. What else do you see in this 1 o'clock? Any bets, any wagers you want to throw out there? I've thrown a couple of ladder plays that I really like. Again, I'm all over Jake Ferguson today. I'm all over Rachaad White receptions, Rachaad White receiving yards. I would definitely play those.
I like Tyler Warren anytime TD in that Colts game.
Yeah, and I do like his yards too.
Yeah, I think he's starting to click. I mean, the Packers-Bengals game, go ahead and give me Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown as well. I feel like that's...
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about... Yeah, later, yeah.
That's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, pretty safe.
If there's, one upset that, I would probably pick as far as money line goes, obviously you got to keep in mind Titans-Raiders, picking Titans money line there, plus 170. They're minus, or 3.5-point dogs against Vegas. But the one I would probably wind up having more confidence in is the Saints money line over the Pats.
Hey, look,
it's hot. It's a hot take.
It is, but I like it. I like it, especially if you're just gonna throw a little bit out there. Just throw a little bit.
If there's any upset on there,
sprinkle, as they say.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at it, it's like don't want to touch Ravens, Rams, Dolphins, Chargers. I mean, even despite the fact the Chargers are, as you kind of mentioned, basically be playing an entire new offensive line, the Dolphins are downright awful, and they got no weapons at all whatsoever over there on offense. I wouldn't really touch Browns because, they kind of struggle in Pittsburgh, and that's always a massive game that, the Steelers get up for. It just makes sense with, Pats coming off that big high over a big Bills win, late Sunday night game, going in early, 12 p.m. kickoff in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a hangover game, I feel like this is it for Saints money line.
I don't oppose it. I actually welcome it. I kind of like it. Again, I said three teams that I'm on that are roughly getting that 3.5 are San Francisco. But I could see that game being decided by a field goal. I'll take the 3.5.
Yeah.
I think Tampa will find a way to win. But I would take the 3.5. I would take Carolina getting 3.5. Now you'd have to buy that. I believe it looks like it's pretty consistently 3 for Dallas, -3 across the board. I'll take the plus 3.5. Pay a little juice there to get that, and then the other 3 that I was just talking about. New Orleans, yeah, your New Orleans, yeah. Listen, it's very Dijon. It's like, okay, how much of this, the Saints, but it just seems right place, right time, spot. Oh, by the way, your boy, the Swiss Army knife, returns for the Saints today. So there's that aspect as well, and I like it. I do.
Their defense improved. The main giveaway or takeaway for me was like watching that game against the Giants last weekend. And you can make the argument.
And Taysom Hill, he is. I couldn't think of his name, but he is active.
Yeah,
I could see this just being one of those, like you said, one of those crazy.
Pat struggled to run the ball. I think Drake May's elite. I think he's going to be, as you mentioned, like the next big time, like superstar quarterback.
I do too.
But I mean, even as great as these QBs are, they always have like that one slip up game, like every single season. It just it makes sense. I mean, like the Pats can't run the ball; they're going to have to be heavy pass reliant. Ironically, Spencer Rattler is playing a little bit, he's been playing better. And I could absolutely see this be a game like, where Kamara gets an anytime touchdown. And New Orleans being able to get a couple turnovers and get short field possession.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn in my one league. I'm going to roll with Caleb Williams Monday night. Looking at passing yards, passing touchdowns allowed. Washington, 24th in the league. So I have him and I have Dak Prescott. So I'm looking at Prescott going up against Carolina, who's actually 6th numbers-wise, although I could see Dallas definitely scoring some points here. But anyways, that's kind of on the fence there a little bit with that. But even better, I had someone in my league started had to start Justin Fields. So
that's tough.
Yeah, not tough. He didn't get his normal rushing yards either. So what else do you like in this early window as we are right up against it? If you're going to put a play in. Oh, the other one I will say, and I think it's just because of some injuries too. Listen, Pittsburgh, I think the Steelers money line against Cleveland, I do like that. I think, look, you can almost get it for, it's not quite plus odds, but to me, nothing, any given Sunday, what do we hear all the time? Nothing is a given, but it's hard not to visualize rolling up about 4 o'clock or 4:05 and looking at your ticket that consists of Pittsburgh Steelers money line and LA Rams money line not cashing. You get it for about $1.27, $1.28. It just moved. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Again, a lot of things there. A lot of moving parts, but you're going to need, again, you're going to need Pittsburgh to ball out. You're going to need them to not turn the football over and give life there with Gabriel. I expect the Steelers defense to show him a little more than what he saw last week. So
you touched the over-under. It's at 37.5, which is low. I mean, the first instinct for me is just like, oh, this could be like a 24-20 game. But then I was like, started to think about it. It's like, Browns have an unbelievable defensive line. You can make the argument probably the best defensive line in the NFL right now. There's still a lot of, things that Dylan Gabriel is going to have to get used to against, against playing a very good defense with the Steelers as well. And, Steelers struggle to really, score consistently. But again, 37.5, though, is just so low.
Yeah. No, I agree. I would say, and again, I'm gonna put you a little banger together here for the 1:00 slate. I'm gonna say Colts money line with your boy Tyler Warren. Yeah, you get him on a touchdown scorer right there. Do you get a little risque and go for first touchdown plus 900? I actually think Jonathan Stewart first touchdown plus 275. He's minus 265 anytime touchdown. So that's a little tough enough already right there. So then you go Colts money line. I mean, it's wow.
Would you do Daniel Jones more than 2 passing touchdowns?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little risky, but
yeah.
Again, I think they should handle Arizona, but again, crazier things happen. So yeah, I mean, I think Ferguson, his yards, 50 yards. I would definitely want some of that.
Yeah.
50 yards receiving. Like I said, I'd lean to Carolina 3.5 catching, but I'm not going to play it like on this one. Also, Rams money line. Who do you like there for touchdowns? Baltimore has just been a funnel for teams just being able to score all they want and then some.
I mean, you got to think like Devontae Adams maybe gets an anytime TD. I mean, he's
had 4 of his last 5 games.
Yeah. I mean, he's plus 110 right now. I mean, better odds than both Kyren Williams and, Nakua as well, who were, respectively minus 160 and, minus 110. The thing is just like, I mean, like, it just seems like, Kyren Williams is a given TD, but like in that game, I mean, I would maybe touch Devontae Williams at plus 110. I don't know if I touch anybody at Baltimore, to be honest with you. Like, I know Derrick Henry's minus 115, but like, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, he's just been completely ineffective the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I don't think Cooper Rush is a good enough quarterback where he could be able to get the ball to Zay Flowers or Mark Andrews as well.
Yeah.
If there's a game where I feel like you want to hit the under, I feel like it'd be this one. It's at 43.5. I don't think Baltimore is going to score a lot of points. I mean, I think they're going to be held, to 14 points or less, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I could see that you're right. I could see them getting a nice, comfortable lead and just sort of like coasting, run, control the clock. I'm really torn because I really think this is the week Stephon Diggs scores a touchdown. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna stick with my guns there, and I think he's gonna score a touchdown again. I think Saints. I wouldn't be surprised if this is Taysom Hill. Hey, he's back. Taysom Hill find a way to get in the end zone.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah. So I mean, all in all, so right here I have a again 6 leg. So everything right here, I feel pretty confident. Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown, Colts money line, Jake Ferguson 50 yards receiving, Rams money line, Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown, Pittsburgh money line.
I like it.
Well, you like it, you sign off on it. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in there. After all, it was a $10 free bet to win at 13.62 odds to win $136. So we'll see. So I mentioned that earlier, though, about the ladder play. If you want to get really, really crazy, and you want to say, let's go, you could throw on the, again, these are based on the matchups that we talked about, that I like and that you like. I really like that the Warren matchup there, and I don't know, for whatever reason FanDuel is just like completely locked up. There we go. But if you go in the matchups that we really, really like, you go Colts, yardage. So let's go receiving props for Tyler Warren. His number is set at 51. Okay. And you want to go alternate receiving yards, Tyler Warren. Let's go 60 yards receiving. Let's go to move over to Dallas and go receiving yards. Feel free to jump in here while I'm searching these, but I would say also alternate receiving yards there with Ferguson. And let's say you go 50 there. And then my boy Rashad White in the backup role, with him going at 425 today. So I'm going to go receiving props again. This time we're going to go alternate receptions instead of receiving yards. And we're going to go down to Rashad White. His number went up, by the way. 4 was 138 earlier. It's 148. I'm going to go 5 receptions for plus 140. So you're at 90. You're at basically right there, plus 991 odds on those 3. Those are 3 ladders that I really, really like today. I would ladder them up basically slightly above their number. Now you could go crazy. Talk about a ladder that I did the other night, and I wish I would have stuck with it. I darn near took Tariq Skubal in that game 5. I had him to get 10 strikeouts, and he wound up with 13. Of course, that was a marathon. I think it just ended. But plus 13. I mean, I almost took it at 12. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I could see his pitch count, them saying, hey, this is for all the marbles to move on. They'll rest him for about, 5 or 6 days and not start him till game 3 against the Blue Jays. And I'm kicking myself that I didn't. Anyways, but those 3 right there, those 3 ladders, Tyler Warren for the Colts, 60-plus receiving yards. You're getting it plus money. Jake Ferguson, 50-plus receiving yards. You're getting it flat, even money. Rashad White, 5-plus receptions. Again, remember, no Chris Godwin, no Mike Evans. Certainly, he's going to get majority of the touches. Tucker might get involved as well out of the backfield there. But all of that right there for a robust plus 991 odds. And, oh, by the way, if you wanted to throw another 4 o'clock, not to get greedy, but let's say you wanted to get, anytime touchdown, like you said. Hell, you could get Josh Jacobs 2 touchdowns today.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. He's minus 260. Him and Jonathan Taylor are the two steepest prices on the board. But that 4 right there brings you to plus 1411. So that's pretty solid right there. But, again, an injury, I've seen it this year, accidents, a guy gets knocked out of the game and then comes back, or FanDuel maybe makes the call like they did with the tight end for the – there was a lot of people believing that conspiracy theory. But anyways, we got to get out of here. Appreciate it. Appreciate Fan Run Radio for allowing us to be in here, and as well Fleet Tire. Cedar Bluff Plumbing, those guys, Cedar Bluff Plumbing took care of a neighbor the other day. Really good folks there. If you ever need any help, definitely give them a call. But again, Fleet Tire making it possible right here in the neutral zone. More Fan Run Radio tomorrow. Daily lineup is stacked and packed. And John and Cody and the gang will kick it off here in the morning. And we're out of here. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, let's get a W down in Tuscaloosa, and we'll be in here just partying like crazy. Maybe we don't even sleep, go to bed Saturday night, and just stay up. A bender all the way through. Drew, have a great week. Go Vols. We'll catch you guys next Sunday.